everyone, this is my district profile on the William S. Hart Union High School District. This particular district has been around since 2007, and I have worked in this district for the past 3 years as a substitute teacher and a long-term substitute teacher, and I completed all of my student teaching in this district. It is the closest district to my house, and since I have a single subject English credential, this is the district that I would most likely work for, and I have applied for several jobs here. The superintendent is Vicki Engebrecht, and this is my overall profile of the Hart District. So some defining characteristics. So the Hart District is named after William Hart, and he was a famous actor slash cowboy back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. So I want to show you real quick. This is William S. Hart here, and the district is named after him. And he died. Newhall, California is about 10 minutes from here, and there's a William S. Hart Museum that you can go visit. And he was a famous actor, and he's known for all of these movies. And his last movie looks like it was 1928, and he died in 1946. But the district is named after him. And having worked in this district for a long time, there are 10 high schools, 6 junior high schools, and there's 1 continuation high school. That is Bowman High School. There are 22,661 students, but I believe after looking at a couple of websites, that's gone up to about 26,000 students. I always believe that this district stands out because the teachers really care about their students, and all the students that I've had in this district have been amazing. This is the only district in Los Angeles that is celebrated for its high test scores, rigorous curriculum, and every school that you go to, whether I've been subbing, there's always talk about diversity and how that is celebrated. And one other defining characteristic of this district is the district gives the most amount of money to students with the highest needs. And I do believe that that makes the most sense, to make sure that the money is very they know where the money is going to go, and that is something that the LCAP for the Hart District, every single penny is allocated to a certain fund, and it's very specific. Some demographics. There are that many students. The English learners are 7.4%. Unfortunately, there are quite a few schools that have socioeconomically disadvantaged students at 30.3%. We have 377 homeless students, 79 are foster youth, and there are currently 985 students that require special education. Whites, there are majority of the students are white at 68%. Hispanic students come in second at 30%, and then the other 2% are come from other cultures and backgrounds. So that is our demographic. It is a primarily white district, but we have a lot of different students from many different cultures, and that diversity is celebrated. So the district goals. After looking at the LCAP and spending a lot of time on the Hart District website, which is right here, this is the Hart District website. What I love about this is that they make things very easy to find. So you have all of your schools. It tells you about the district. You can go here and find all of the board meetings, what was talked about at those board meetings. Everything is very organized, and I find that even as a substitute, if I show up at any of these schools, they are very organized. My substitute binder is ready to go, and if I have an interview, they are already ready for me. So it's a very organized district, and I feel like it stands out because the people that work in this district are very serious. They are focused, and everything is very easy to find. So for the community, I found the LCAP here, as well as their financial reports. And all of the, if I wanted to find out their strategic plan, I would click that here. And it's all ready for me to find. There's nothing hidden. It's all very clear and laid out. If you are staff, I generally will go here to have them make copies for me. All of the staff resources, anything to get into the textbook, the grading through Infinite Campus, new teacher handbook. Everything is very easy to find, and I love their website for this particular purpose. So my son is going to be attending the new high school in the Hart District called Castaic High School, and this is right near my house. And this is opening next Tuesday, the very first incoming freshman class, and my son will be in the very first incoming class. Their website is all ready to go, and this district, they are looking at about $220 million a year for 26,000 students approximately. So this district is doing very well. They've been able to open the brand new high school, and my son is super excited about being the very first incoming class. So they have the website all ready to go. As you can tell, it looks just like the district website, but all the schools have their very own website, and everything is very easy to understand. So if I go back over here, the district goals are laid out in the LCAP. Goal number 1, ensure all students have access to highly qualified teachers, school site guidance counselors, Common Core state standards, aligned textbooks and materials, and uncrowded school facilities in good repair. Goal number 2, increase and improve student achievement by providing rigorous and standards-aligned curriculum and instruction in English, math, social studies, and science with additional support for English learners, students with disabilities, and socioeconomically disadvantaged students. This is I haven't done a ton of research on other districts, but this district is very focused on helping the students that need the most help. Increase the number of students prepared for college and career by enrolling students in a broad course of rigorous study that includes career pathways and CTE courses. And goal number 4 is to cultivate a safe and positive school culture that supports all students' personal, and I believe that is just their academic goals. So I need to fix that, but overall, these are the 4 main district goals. They align with the state goals that they are taking the goals from, and they align these goals to what their students need. Financial trends, it looks like the last website I was on said 220 million, and the total funds that come in are, it looks like 209,392,805 from the LCFF, and then the other amounts come from property taxes, which are, I'm sure, huge because it's kind of a wealthier area. State funding, federal funding. And what's interesting is on the LCAP, they are very specific about where every penny goes to make sure that they are held accountable. And that's one thing that really stands out for the Hart District, is that they are very accountable for where all the pennies are going. Title I funding, Title II funding. They're explaining on the LCAP what the budget expenditures are and how much they actually were, so you can get an idea of where all of this money is actually going. So they have it all very clear in black and white. If you want to know how much it's going to be for books, they're approximating 10,000. Here's what it actually came to, 3,652. So they're really quite particular and detail-oriented when it comes to, if there's money coming in, there's a purpose for where that money is going to go, and that is pretty extraordinary. Nothing is hidden. It's all about the students. And even if I'm on, if I'm at one junior high one day and I'm at another high school the next day because I don't have a permanent job yet, it's always about the students, and I feel that that is something wonderful about this district. So their strategic plan, to go with their LCAP priorities is to communicate substantive current district and school information to all stakeholders. And I feel like they do this very well because as a parent, I'm a stakeholder. As a teacher, I'm a stakeholder. So I can go to their district website and find everything I need. Instructional program will emphasize rigor in reading and writing in all content areas. Having done my student teaching at West Ranch High School, which is a pretty rigorous high school with a focus on college and career readiness, I did all my student teaching there, and I found that to be pretty tough, and the kids were being worked pretty tough. Productive school, family, community partnerships, create other ways to help students in their future, establish an environment in which everyone is valued and treated with dignity and respect, and where all students are afforded equal educational and extracurricular opportunities. Continue to ensure that the health and safety of all students is of primary concern, and provide fiscal stability and accountability at all levels within the district. And that's the fiscal stability and accountability is easily seen just by looking at their LCAP. And I love that just anyone can access the LCAP, and we can all kind of see, both as a parent and a teacher, I can see where all of the money is going. So before I get to that, I want to show the Heart District. I went to greatschools.org, and West Ranch High School is where I did my student teaching, and they consider West Ranch to be a 10 out of 10, which I can definitely understand because the students are so ready for college. We even when I taught 10th grade honors English and 12th grade seniors when I did my student teaching, and the teacher kept looking at me like, you need to make this harder, you need to make this harder, make this harder. And so I just pushed my brain to the limit, and I feel like because of that, those students are going to do amazing in college. I've also spent a lot of time at Rancho Pico Junior High, which is the feeder school for West Ranch, and that's also considered a 10 out of 10. So it's kind of nice to see. I've been a long-term English teacher for 3 different teachers at Rancho, and so it's nice to just see, all the hard work I've done, and all the other teachers, of course, but it's nice to see that all of that is making an impact. So I spent a little time looking at the Heart District on greatschools.org. The district is accountable. All of the schools have their own accountability report card. They all come up with goals of what they want to achieve. They have WASC accreditation. They have, who has a credential, who does not have a full credential, what their goals are for working on that. And they make their teachers very accountable as well. They need to explain how they're going to use the textbook. So it's all a matter of a district that's just a very organized, very focused on college. They want people who are organized and focused, and I can tell. So for instance, here's one of the regular board meetings, and they have all of this listed on their website. So anyone out in the district can see what is going on. What are they negotiating about? What are they talking about? What are they trying to get approved? How much money is going to be spent? I spent some time on Ed Data, and they talked about all the different where it's located, who is the, how many people are attending, who's getting free and reduced meals. So there's so much information, and it's wonderful to, as a parent and a teacher in this district, I can go here and find everything that I want to find out about this district. So some recent changes, I think I told this to you already, but this district has a brand new high school this year, and this reflects how well they're doing financially. Canyon High School in West Ranch, where I did my student teaching, they're going to open wellness centers, and they're talking about putting a wellness center on other campuses in the future. Students are able to visit these wellness centers when they're feeling stressed, and I can understand because West Ranch really pushes their students, and when they're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, maybe their AP classes are becoming too much. They need maybe a counselor to help them work through some of the things they're going through. They're opening wellness centers on many campuses. These are the two big changes that I noticed in my research, but I'm sure there are others. A lot of strengths within this district. 95.8% of graduates do graduate. It is the most exemplary district for all of LA County. There we have high math and English scores. We have a low district suspension score. Every student has the opportunity to take the software that will kind of match who they are with what career might be best for them. The district also does a training called Capturing Kids' Hearts, and this is fantastic. I've done this training. It talks about, takes about 4 questions. What do you do when the students are learning? What do you do when they're not learning? And it's about developing that relationship with the students, capturing their hearts. Another big thing about capturing kids' hearts is to shake each student's hand as they come in and ask them how their day is going. I think that's phenomenal. The Link Mentoring Program is being utilized as a strength. It partners high school students with junior high students who need help. And so, for instance, since West Ranch is so close to Rancho Pico, the high school students could walk across the street and help a couple of the junior high students who need extra help. This class, we did research on PBIS, and that's going to be implemented with a few schools this year, and then it's going to be moving to other schools. But overall, I have been very impressed with this district. My main issue with this district is that it is extremely hard to get a position. When I talked to a principal recently when I had an interview, she said that for one position she got 50 applications. So I'm having some trouble getting a teaching English position within this district. It is quite competitive, and even though I was at the same school for 3 different teachers, I still did not get the position. But it's very much clear in every school that students are the top priority, and keeping them focused on their future and what they're going to achieve with their vision is the main priority at all the schools. A couple of challenges. According to the LCAP and a few other places, their accountability report, students with disabilities, English learners, and foster youths are not doing that well in math and English. Only 16.2% of EL students are prepared for college. Only 37.4% of homeless students are prepared. So the district is aware of these issues. They know that the scores are down for English learners, and so they have put a couple of action points into. Are starting to do a couple of things to make sure, like they'll have after school tutoring in the library at each campus. They've put an EL coordinator at each school in the district, and they're trying to do everything they can to boost up these scores and to help their EL students. As in this district, the highest amount of money always goes to the students who need the most, and I think that's how it should be. So the district is aware of this, and they're doing a lot of things, and they're doing everything they can to boost those scores. So my recommendations for the district is that it is very hard to get into, and even as a substitute, now that I am a substitute until I have a full-time position, but getting into this district is really hard. I think they should find a way to make that easier, especially if you've been a substitute in the district. Another recommendation is that specifically at like West Ranch and all of the really hard schools in the district, I always hear students talking about test scores, AP tests, and I just would love to hear students talking about how much they're enjoying what they're learning instead of memorizing a ton of vocabulary for their AP environmental science test. I just want them to, yes, I want them to get A's and I want them to be successful, but it's also wonderful to just enjoy learning. I think they should keep going with programs like Capturing Kids' Hearts. Students love this. And even as a long-term teacher, I felt like there was not enough supplies for teachers. I always see teachers bring in their own. And I feel like I'm sure all teachers say this, but they would love to have more money for supplies they need in the classroom. So I went through and I found a lot of great information on the Hart District, about William Hart himself, some information about how the Hart District ranks versus the other districts. So this is my district profile, and after spending quite a bit of time looking at ed data, looking at all of the minutes that have been recorded at the board meetings, noticing that everyone is accountable and organized, I have just been very impressed. And even though it is a difficult district to get into, I still would love to work in this district. And I hope you enjoyed watching my presentation on the William S. Hart Union High School District. Thank you.